Good day, Alistair Curry here from Infrastructure News. Today I'm with Webster Mfebe, who is the CEO of SAFCEC. Good day, Mfebe.
Good day.
So Webster, we were talking about the situation today in terms of leadership and the challenges for both private and public sector and how to find the balance and the way forward. Could you expand on that for us, please?
Yes, I subscribe to a philosophy that says as human beings we need to constantly calibrate our thoughts and deeds in tune with the realities of human coexistence.
Right.
That without others we are nothing, but within others we can be anything we want to be.
Of course.
Therefore, the formation of partnership with social partners that includes government, business, and labor, we can take this country forward. But that requires a particular type of leadership to be able to do that kind of task.
And in your presentation, you spoke about the leadership in the dealership model and also about the pitfalls. Could you expand on that?
Yes, basically I contrast bad leadership with positive leadership.
Yes.
Positive leadership has to do with ethical leadership, and the contrast is dealership. People confuse leadership with dealership. They go into positions, whether in the private or public sector, and to cut deals for themselves and don't care for the rest of the population. And this is precipitated in the main by two types of viruses, which I call the POP, protect, own, pub.
Okay.
And also it has to do in the space of the public sector, for an example, in terms of politics of the stomach. Even if people see things that are wrong, they would support something which is wrong. Okay? And also from the private sector point of view, that those who have do not care much about those who do not have.
Yes.
You have to balance this.
Absolutely.
That is one virus, which is POP, protect, own, pub virus.
Okay.
And the second virus, which then precipitates this leadership crisis, is what I call RMS virus, which is rock star mentality.
Okay.
And people become big-headed when they assume positions and they are there for themselves. When these two viruses are combined, they form what I call AHS virus, acquired human selfishness syndrome.
Okay.
And this syndrome has manifests itself in a number of ways: self-aggrandizement, disregard for values, for truth, for principles, and actually pursuing own personal interests. So when these two types of viruses are inflicted upon a nation in a socio-economic transition such as ours, it obliterates every hope that has been made. It deflowers every garden that has been planted. And in fact, it accelerates the country into a political and economic quagmire. And we have to arrest that. The only way to arrest that is through ethical leadership. Because that kind of leadership that is infecting the nation with that kind of virus is a kleptocratic and predatory leadership. It's about feeding first, and you don't care about the rest.
Yes.
And when you become a kleptocratic state, it means those few who are the elite, whether they are in the business elite or the political elite, they don't care about the rest. We have to guard against in South Africa. There are certain things that we can also do in terms of creating a conducive environment for prosperity.
Okay, so what are the examples of an inclusive economy for SAFCEC? How do we move away from the quagmire and get towards more positive implementation? Is the recent trust initiative an example?
Well, you have to do things in terms of practical projects on the ground, not just talk. Hey, we have to deal with this trust deficit.
Yes.
We have to ensure there's inclusive economy. We have recently, among other things, there are many things that the companies are doing in terms of the construction charter sector codes, but there's a new initiative as well which focus on putting and propelling the construction industry into a developmental, a transformational and growth trajectory by pushing transformation and ownership on the part of black emerging contractors to rise up over a certain period to the same level as the established construction companies, some of which are JSE listed.
Fantastic. And in closing, what would you say the outlook is for 2017 in terms of more positive traction in the areas you discussed?
Well, you know, contractors are always positive. There are a number of announcements that were done, and there was a good presentation by Transnet, among others, for example, of billions worth of pipeline that is coming. That is what contractors need to hear. And I think they will be positive in terms of preparing to invest. However, provided that the environment is created, that the announced projects are spent within the time limits and the budget are spent, as I've indicated, of the 800 billion that was allocated for infrastructure in the MTF period 2013-2015. Only 530 billion of that was spent.
Okay.
And again, construction, you know, when we say infrastructure, actual construction constitutes about 65% of that. And I think with the announcement, also government announced 40 priority projects which would come on stream within 2 years or so. And I think that will add to the confidence in the industry. And as the old adage says, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, until we see the rollout.
Right, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Webster.